Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to introduce you to the love of my life, my precious dog, Obby. Say hi, Obby. Hi, Roll. Okay, so I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who was so positive and encouraging to me after my first video on Wednesday. I am especially grateful for the feedback on how I need to turn my phone sideways if I want to record and upload to YouTube. Thank you. You know who you are. So today I thought, okay, why don't I tell you the whole story of my face-to-face day so that you can just know, like, this is what it was. And there are some funny parts and there are some boring parts, but if you are a YouTube junkie right now, like I was before I went to my face-to-face, I literally watched every video that I could to try to know what is gonna happen. Oh my gosh, what's gonna go on? So here's my story. Here's my face-to-face interview story. Okay, so in my previous video, I told you that I had received an email that told me when my flight was going to be. They pay to, at least my company paid to fly me to the location to be interviewed. And in an email, they let me know what time my flight was going to be, and I needed to be there 2 hours early. So my flight was at 6:20. So that meant I needed to be at the airport at 4:20 in the morning. So I was just kind of like, okay, what do I do? Here's the first thing. It was like, do you get mostly ready the night before? Like, have your hair kind of ready, you know? Do you take a shower the night before so you don't have to shower and then blow dry your hair? Like, do I wake up at 2:30? Do I wake up at 3? And so I ended up waking up at 3. What I did was I took a shower the night before so my hair was dried. It was just needing to be straightened and things like that. And then I also wanted to make sure that I took the advice, not the advice, the command to be there 2 hours early seriously. If they give you an instruction, you really need to follow it. It's very important. So I knew I needed to be at the airport, and not only at the airport, but checked in, meaning I went to the computer console and I had my ticket printed out so they knew that I was there at or before 4:20. So this is me. Okay, so I'm driving to the airport. Nobody is around because it's so early in the morning. I get to the airport and I had never been to the airport so early of a morning that not even like the ticket, like the people that you know, give your luggage to or whatever, they weren't even there. They weren't even there yet. So it was just me and probably 2 handfuls of other people. And I knew, okay, well, I'm gonna have to check in. And if the people aren't behind the desk, then I guess I have to check in with this self check-in thing. So I go over there and I'm trying to figure it out, and it takes me a significant amount of time. And if you watch my video from before, I took my own advice that day and I was like, okay, pretend like there is a camera on you at all times from the time that you walk into the airport. So I'm thinking, if this camera's on me right now, they're gonna think, man, this girl is not the smartest. I mean, it's taken her a really long time to figure out how to do the computer. That's okay. I ended up figuring it out. And here's the other thing. I was looking around and I saw a couple other people were having trouble too. They couldn't figure it out either. So after I figured out how to do mine, I walked over and asked an older gentleman. I said, "Sir, do you need any help?" And he said, "Oh my gosh, thank you. Yes." And so I helped him. I walked him through the steps. I said, "Did you want to upgrade to this? This is asking about an upgrade. No, okay." And then boom, and it printed out his ticket. And I thought, oh, well, that felt good. I was helpful. Well, then a gentleman who English was his second language came up to me and asked me to help him too. And I thought, oh, yes, be glad to help you too. I'm so excited. I get to help people. And so I was helping him, and turns out he was actually going to be on my flight too. So we walked in through security together and sat down at the gate together, and I didn't know what I was gonna do because you're there so early, you know? So what am I gonna do? I didn't really think playing on my phone was gonna be a good idea, because once again, if the camera's on you at all times, do you want them seeing you just on your phone the whole time? I did bring a book. I thought, well, that'll look a little more scholarly if I at least bring a book with me instead of playing on my phone. So I did do that. But the thing is this gentleman, he was so nice, and we just struck up a conversation and talked almost the entire time. And the time just flew by, and I got to know about his culture and where he came from and what he's doing in the United States now. And it was just a wonderful experience for me, and I felt like making a friend like that really helped set the right pace for my day. So then we get on the airplane, and a gentleman sits down next to me, and it's a small world, guys, because he takes his dog to the same vet that I take my dog to. So we had that in common, and he was just extremely friendly, very encouraging when he found out that I was flying down for an interview. And at the end of the flight, he just said, you know, I think this would be a perfect job for you. You are so friendly, and I think that this is just great, and you're gonna love your new job, and I wish you the best. And that was like another perfect start for my day. I'm so lucky that I sat next to somebody who wanted to have a conversation with me, because a lot of people don't. That would be a piece of advice that I give to you, because for example, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but like on my return flight, I sat next to a gentleman who was not in the mood to talk. He didn't really want to talk, and that's okay too. Not everyone is friendly and wants to make friends on the airplane, but if you do read their body language and they do seem open to talking to you, do it. Because what if like the flight attendants on the airplane saw how friendly you were, and they were like, oh, well, she looks like, or he looks like they're gonna do great, you know, in this profession. So anyway, so I arrive at the airport, a big airport, guys, one that I haven't actually flown into to my knowledge, especially not by myself before. And guys, I get lost. I got lost. I mean, it was so embarrassing, and it was a little bit of a miscommunication because we were supposed to call the campus and let them know, hey, I'm here. Can you send a shuttle to come pick me up? And so I called and I asked exactly how do I find the shuttle, and I think there was just a little bit of miscommunication. And I can also fully accept the blame that sometimes I may be a little blonde, but I eventually find my way to where the shuttle was, and I was the first, guys, the very first person out of all the interviewees for the day to arrive on campus. And I'm really glad that I called and asked an important question before I got there. The question that I asked was, should I eat something at the airport, or is there a food option on campus? And I'm glad that I asked that, because there is an option on campus. And she said, yes, you can come and eat at the cafeteria if you'd like. And I thought, that sounds like a great opportunity to get to know my company better. I don't need to know the airport. I need to know my company, the one that I want to be a part of, that I want my career to be with from now until I retire. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. So I went, and I walk in, like I said, I'm the first person, and she just pointed me down the hallway. She was like, yeah, the cafeteria is down there, you take this turn, and da-da-da. Well, I didn't exactly know where I was going, but luckily I followed my nose and I could find the cafeteria that way, and I did. And I thought, okay, I am going to read people and see if anyone looked like they wanted someone to eat with. And I'll tell you what, guys, this is not a magic moment like everything else that happened that morning. Did not find a friend in the cafeteria because they were all talking business and I didn't want to disturb them. But what I did do is after I finished with my meal, I had a tray and I was going to return it to the return place, and I noticed a couple people getting up and I offered to take their tray with me because I was on the way over there anyway. I said, would you like for me to put that up for you? And that was a way to open conversation with a gentleman that works there, and he was very nice and very friendly, and he asked me how I was and, oh, you're here for the interview, oh, good luck. And he even said, hey, if you want to, you're more than welcome to go through those doors over there and, you know, walk around the campus. And I was thinking, wow, that'd be really cool. And then I was also thinking, wow, I'm going to get lost. So I told him, I said, thank you so much for letting me know that I can walk around, and that would probably be a great idea if I wasn't so bad at directions. And so I was like, I better stay in this area. Thank you though. And so I went back to the lobby, and by that point there were a few other female interviewees that had arrived, and over the next hour or so they were trickling in more and more and more. And I remember being really nervous. I mean, just almost shaking because I wanted this job so bad. And I knew that a lot of people have been applying for years and haven't even got to the point where I was at for face-to-face. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is like, what if this is my one big chance? What if this is my one big chance? I was like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this well. But of course, that means that I end up acting goofy because that's just who I am. I just act goofy. I had to reel myself back in several times. Like, I had some of the girls laughing early on, and I was just thinking, okay, it's good that they're laughing, but I also probably need to, you know, be a little more professional and composed, and, you know, so I did. I tried to reel myself back in and take my own advice of not being too overpowering, you know, don't be too dominating of conversation and everything else. And so I ended up getting up and jumping around from group to group like a little social butterfly, trying to get to know everybody. And it was fun. It was really fun. We did little name games during that time, trying to remember the different people, and I think that that was a really good idea because it was a way to get to know people, also a way to test your memory, because you also really want to remember the recruiters' names. You want to remember their names because that's going to make a big impression. If instead of, if you needed, for example, if you wanted to get someone's attention, a recruiter's attention, instead of saying, excuse me, ma'am, you could say, excuse me, Carolyn, hi, I have a question. And then they would think, oh, she remembered my name. And I only told her once. And that is going to make you stand out as opposed to some other people. So try to remember names. Always make eye contact and speak clearly. And if you do shake hands, have a firm but not overpowering handshake. Anyway, so we go into this, I would say, conference room with everybody. There was probably 60, maybe 70 people interviewing that day. It seemed like a lot of people. And then we did this group exercise, and that was interesting. And I told you in the previous video, you know, it's time sensitive, so be aware of the time. Try to make sure that you finish your task on time. If that means that you have to kindly interject that the person who's kind of taking control and who has the marker and is writing things down, if they're not doing it fast enough, just be like, may I help? Anyway, so we did that. That was interesting. That was a neat like icebreaker to get to know people in the room. And then you are broken off into little groups to do your group interview, like what I told you yesterday. I will tell you guys, by the time that I got to that group interview, I felt like there was no saliva left in my mouth. I was so nervous. I was so nervous that I felt like I was thinking, am I even gonna be able to talk when it's my turn? I'm not even kidding. That's not an overdramatism. That really happened. So we get in there, and I just remember thinking, man, I am so grateful for the YouTube videos that I watched, for the advice that I was given from all of these different people to help, you know, of how to help prepare for the questions and how to make sure you have a great answer ready. And it was really kind of cool. I'm not going to tell you what I said or what my question was, but I got to talk about one of my customers that is a sweet friend of mine now, and our interaction. And I just think it's really special because for the rest of my life, I'll remember that that particular friend, that customer, we had such a great experience together that I got to share it with the company I was applying to. And anyway, so after that, we went back into the main conference room, and we were being called out one by one. Some people were just escorted out, and then some people were escorted into a private room for a face-to-face, one-on-one interview. And by that point, I actually was able to relax a little bit. I thought, okay, I've made it here. I was like, whew, I did it. It's not over yet, but I got here. And I thought, okay, I can do this. And I had a really wonderful lady interviewing me, and it just, I mean, it went well. I don't want to say a whole lot other than what I told you in the previous video. Just be really resolved. Like, let them know how confident you are in the decision that this company is the perfect fit for you and you for it. I remember leaving, and we had to do the reach test and the jump seat test, and thinking, oh my gosh, this is so surreal. I can't believe this is actually happening to me. I'm so excited. Now, I know in the past, a lot of people are offered their CJO the day of, and they do fingerprinting and all that stuff the day of. They did not with my group, so they told me that they would be, if I was chosen, then I would be flown down at a later date for fingerprinting and drug tests and all that stuff. And I left the room with another lady who was in my small group, and you know, we were kind of looking at each other like, cool, congratulations, this is so exciting. And then there was that awful moment of going outside with everybody else waiting for the shuttle, and then realizing many of their faces were quite sad because they figured it out that some people got one thing and then other people got something else. And I did not want to brag about the fact that I got back there. I was so excited. It's hard to keep it inside, but at the same time I was just like, no, I don't need to say anything. If someone asks me, that's one thing. If they say, hey, did you have a face-to-face interview, then I might say yes, and just leave it like that, because I didn't think that that would be appropriate or in any way kind. So yeah, so we went back to the airport and I got some food, and I remember meeting a pilot on the way back who lives in the state that I live in, and he was just like, oh, well, congratulations, I hope that you're a part of our team. We don't have a whole lot of team members from Arkansas. And I'm like, I hope so. On the way back, like I mentioned earlier, the guy I sat next to was not particularly in the mood to talk, and that's okay. That is okay. So I got to just kind of relax and reflect on the day, and got home. I, went to go see my boyfriend, and we celebrated that at least the day turned out well. And I was exhausted. I was so tired. So you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get home until 6 something, and yeah. Then it was a week later that I got my CJO, and I was at the restaurant that I work at, and this is my restaurant attire right now. In fact, I was wondering whether I was going to change out of what I wear to make this video, and then I thought, nah, it's gonna be nice looking back and being like, hey, remember when you wore a fleece jacket and a t-shirt and some like cargo type pants and tennis shoes to work, and then a month later you were wearing a professional suit with a beautiful scarf and pantyhose, my hair up in a beautiful bun. But anyway, so a week later I got my CJO at work. I literally did a lap around the room. No customers were in there, by the way. With my arms out beside me making airplane noises. Vroom. I was like, I'm gonna be leaving on a jet plane. It was awesome. Guys, I'm so excited, you have no idea. Well, that was all in September, and it's February now, guys, and I don't even start until March. It was a long process for me. I applied in May. I did the video interview, I believe, in June. And then I was called for the face-to-face in September. So it's almost gonna be a year. I graduate in April. That'll be almost a full year from the time I applied to the time that I graduate. And I'm telling you, it has been an experience, because if you really want this, then it just seems like it can't come here quick enough. Anyway, I just wanted to share my face-to-face story with you and let you know how my day went. And if you have any other questions, let me know. And I'm glad that in this video you were able to see I am a little on the goofy, nerdy side.